Hello, Bible readers. It is Thursday, May 13th. We're reading from Lamentations, finishing it up, actually, and then Revelation chapter 3 and chapter 4. So I never said anything about Lamentations yesterday. It's a short collection of 5 poems, powerful poems. Lamentations is a poetic response, a lot of imaginative, poetic writings. I mean, and being steeped in Revelation right now and how vibrant the imagery is there. Lamentations does a very similar thing, different mood, obviously. But Lamentations is a poetic response to a national tragedy. It's the same tragedy that we've been reading about in Jeremiah. The Jewish people's lands have been invaded. The economy and social life of the entire nation have collapsed, and not just for a little while. We now know what pandemic fatigue feels like. Babylon's been successfully attacking Jerusalem for many years at this point. 597, 587, 582. They keep just coming back and taking and killing and just, I mean, can you imagine the national psyche after that amount of time? That's a long, lopsided war. Like I said, it is still Jeremiah time. One tradition claims Jeremiah actually wrote Lamentations, and I think it's probably a lot like Pauline letters, where these letters are in keeping with much of what Paul would say, but says it in its own way. That's kind of what this is like too. Lamentations could come from a school of Jeremiah, you could say, but probably not written by Jeremiah himself. Cries for help, begging God to see them. Its best use is for communities at the end of their collective rope. Maybe our post-COVID church should reclaim Lamentations. So we just started yesterday, and now we finish Lamentations already today. Each poem is worth its own study, its own attention. It ends, of course, with the survivor's prayer. Restore us to yourself, O Lord, that we may be restored. Renew our days as of old, unless you have utterly rejected us and are angry with us beyond measure. And that's how it ends. So there's a plea for restoration, but not like 100% confidence that restoration is going to happen. It feels very real, right? That's how it feels when utter devastation or grief is known to individuals, and especially when it's known to communities. Okay, Revelation. The first 4 chapters of Revelation introduce the author and what it is we are encountering: a prophecy. A person of the first century would have heard kind of almost like a formula of apocalyptic prophecy. That's what they'd expect hearing this first chapter. And they wouldn't be thinking, as I mentioned yesterday, okay, so this means this is a foretelling of the future. John is like my palm reader who's going to tell me what the future looks like. But instead, they would be expecting a revealing of God's presence in their present. Where is God in all this, is what Revelation is trying to answer. Where is God in all this, not just now, but always? How is God present in the midst of the stuff we know in this world? It's told, of course, in the first person as a storyteller who had an experience, a vision, which really invites a reader in through our imagination, not so much through our intellect, which is how we usually read, trying to make connections, plot connections, and who is this character again, and how does this character contribute to that character's plot curve and all that kind of thing. Revelation isn't about our intellect. It's about our heart more than our head. In chapters 2 and 3, John writes to the angels of 7 churches. What an amazingly fantastic idea that an angel is assigned to each Christian community. Now, here's a perfect example of what I mean by we're called to use our imaginations, not our intellect, our hearts, not our heads. Would it mean that John writes to an angel of each community? Does that mean our intellect needs to add to First Lutheran Church's Constitution, our angel, assigned to us by God in 1870 when we were founded, is expected to serve us in these specific ways. What would that mean when a church closes? Again, Revelation is not about our heads, it's about our hearts. It's about seeing with our heart, understanding with our heart. We need to ask, what is the point of this that's being said? What is the message? What is the meaning of writing to an angel of a church? Not exactly, oh, so there's an angel assigned to each church. John uses these angel letters to speak pastorally, to speak prophetically to churches, and that's the point. Chapter 4, last thing, singing at the throne, that the elders fall down singing. Song is the language of heaven. That seems to be a clear message of Revelation. I'm one with my God. My God is with us, all of us, at all times and in all places.